So I could have stayed and I had another year. But I wouldn't even have graduated high school if I did that.
Mm-hmm.
So I made the decision. Also, I knew that there was just a gap in the skills that I had, but also just the exposure to the game and the minutes of just playing. So I needed to close that gap. The best way to do it was to just play as many games as possible and work as much as possible on my skills. And sometimes teachers, professors, are very helpful and they are able to work with you on it. Sometimes they don't care. They don't care at all. We had another guy who actually had this happen over the summer. He just got a steroid shot and he was all good after. But mine, within a week, it progressed from just being a little bit of tingling to, burning sensation down the leg. I lost feeling in my foot. And then at the end, my calf muscles stopped working completely. I don't know if happy is the right answer because I don't really think about it as in happiness anymore. But the growth and the learning experiences, everything. It's made me into the person that I am today, and I'm grateful that I went through all those struggles and all those dark times.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Basketball, Body and Mind. Today I'm joined by Louis Stormark, a Danish basketball player that I had chance to work with while I was in Get Better Academy. Louis started his international career early, playing for Juve Zalgiris team, then moved to Get Better Academy, where we worked together for a couple of years, and recently he has finished NCAA Division I career at Idaho State. For many young players, this might seem, oh my God, this is my dream. I want to do this. Travel, compete, play college, travel internationally, play tournaments, but the path is not always as smooth as it seems. So today, if Louis will allow us, we're going to explore what the journey looked like behind the curtains, the highs, the struggles, and what he has learned along the way. Louis, welcome to the show.
Thank you, and thank you for the introduction. I'm sitting here in awe. I'm like, man, that sounds so good. Thank you, Stan. I'm happy to be here.
So, my pleasure. And the reason why we are reconnecting, because 4 years ago, we did an interview with him live just before he moved to the USA. There were also a couple of other players that were together with us. But just before he moved to the USA, to the D1 school, we were talking about the expectations, how life is going to be there. And now 4 years later, we are here. So now let's touch very briefly first. How come a Danish kid started to play basketball? Why not badminton?
It's a very good question. I used to play badminton. It's funny because in that interview, I'm starting to name all the sports that I played as well.
Yes.
And the list is long. I really just tried to do everything that I could.
So what led you to basketball?
It was actually playing tennis. So my strength and conditioning coach in tennis, he used to play basketball. He played basketball all the time. And he would tell me how if he went a week without it, he was going crazy. He had to go down there, get shots, all this. And I'm like, man, I played so many different sports and I never felt that with anything. So he was begging me to try it. And I had tried it once before and I hated it, absolutely hated it. I didn't understand the rules. I was horrible with my hands. I didn't want to do it at all.
Yes.
But after a couple of months, he convinced me to go over and try it. And we had this amazing coach. His name was Otis Lloyd, came from the States as well. And he took me in right away. And I just fell in love with the game from there.
So
but I was 14, about to turn 15 at that time.
When you started?
When I started. That was my first practice, everything, yeah. 14.
14 years old, okay. Many people would say it's late, but I believe there was a research done in Denmark, and they talked with the Olympic medalist, and they asked approximately what year you started. How old were you when you started to focus on one sport? And I think it was 15.9 years. So you are right on that. But you started then, not that you could.
I think I've heard about that study because I've heard about two different ones. Like there's two different paths to mastering something, you can either just 10,000 hours,
Yes.
stay on one course and just do that only, or you can do a lot of different things, which is going to make you more agile, better at doing different things, and then you can connect those things into one sport when you get older.
Yes.
So I think is that correct?
Yes. This is, I believe it's from the book Mastery, where they are exploring these different ways, or maybe it's I think it's from Mastery, that they are using Tiger Woods' example, that he started like maybe age 4. I don't remember exactly. Age 4, maybe winning the tournaments already against someone who is like 10 years old. Yeah. And then we have Steve Nash or LeBron James, who in high school was still playing American football. So that's what you mean, probably, that there can be different paths.
Definitely.
And for you, so you started 14, 15 playing basketball, and then at age 16 or 17, you left to Zalgiris, to the youth team, right?
16 turning 17, yeah.
How did that came about?
Well, really, so I started early and I was playing. I can hear Martin, he just walked into the house. But I heard... I really started playing when I was 14, and I made it to the youth national team at an early age, that same first year. And so I got exposed to other nations and other talents. I moved to a sports college we have in Denmark when I was 15, 16. And then from there, they actually started a partnership with Zalgiris to help develop prospects from Denmark down in Lithuania, but also for Lithuanian prospects to come up to us. And so I got to go to a camp with 2 other prospects from Denmark. This camp was, we had Tubelis, he was there. Who else was it? Kerr was there. Machelonis was there. It was a lot of the guys that still to this day they're playing, and they're playing at a high level. But back then we were just kids, man. We were just kids playing around. But I made a big impression on them at that camp, especially because I hadn't played for that long. And so actually after that camp, they offered me to come down and play at the academy in Zalgiris.
Yeah, that's...
yeah.
You stood out somehow. Yes, that's nice. That's nice. And cannot imagine Lithuanians, and no offense to Denmark, but I cannot imagine Lithuanians going to Denmark to train basketball. But Danish people going to Lithuania, that makes sense.
Happened a lot more the other way. We did actually get a Lithuanian guy who came up. I don't remember his name. There's 2. There was an older guy who was playing for a men's team, and then there was a younger guy who came to actually develop. I think he ended up just studying though. So
yes. And how come then you transferred from Zalgiris? You decided to go to GBA, to Czech Republic.
It's a crazy decision, right? Every kid's dream in Lithuania is to go to Zalgiris and play with the Dublerish, make it to the men's team. It was really a decision of understanding where I was at and my development, and also I didn't want to cut out the academic side of it. I don't know if you know, but I went to Jablonski.
Yes, a Lithuanian school.
Lithuanian school in Kaunas. And there was 2 people that spoke English in that school. It was the Lithuanian teacher and it was the English teacher. The rest of them, they didn't speak a word. And when I say they didn't speak a word, I said hello to our math teacher. And she started panicking. She said, давай. That's it. That's it. So me and Kerr, we were in that class together, and we were struggling. We weren't really learning as much. And so I could have stayed, and I had another year. But I wouldn't even have graduated high school if I did that. So I made the decision. Also, I knew that there was just a gap in the skills that I had, but also just the exposure to the game and the minutes of just playing. So I needed to close that gap. The best way to do it was to just play as many games as possible and work as much as possible on my skills. And I knew that was going to be elsewhere. Yes. While also being able to do my degree work.
Yes. It's nice that you, already at that age you thought about the academics, because that could be a burden for you if you would like to go to the college. So sure. It's nice because at the moment it feels for people like, okay, I don't need to do school, I can focus on basketball, but I still want to go to the college, but you don't think about the future. It's nice that you thought about that.
Yeah, I was there. I was one of those kids. I was thinking the same way. But I mean, I come from a family where my dad is highly educated, my mom is highly educated, and they were always pushing to just have it just in case. Just in case. You're doing the time anyways. You might as well just put a little bit more effort into it, and then you get something good out of it as well. So.
Yes. So then 2 years in Czech Republic. It was COVID years that we were working in the small gym, training sessions 5 times, 6 times a week. And one story that I got bored a little bit of doing weights with you guys. And then this is a story about you. And then I said, okay, you know what? Let's do 2 weeks of only body weight training. And you said to me, Stan, like, we need weights. We need to lift heavy. We're not going to be even tired after doing those body weight sessions. Do you remember?
Yeah, and I remember how tired I was after doing it too. You proved me wrong. You proved me wrong.
I put extra on you. But so then after those 2 years, you earned a scholarship and you get recruited to the Division 1 team. Was it difficult for you to get that scholarship?
I mean, so my year was the COVID year. It was the year where nobody knew what was going on. I had interest from a lot of schools and they were going to fly me out to go walk the campus, see everything. But then the news came of everybody gets their eligibility back. So nobody really needed anyone else. And so all the talk just stopped completely. But at Idaho State, the coach here, Coach Looney, he kept talking to me. He kept in touch with me. They offered me right away. Liam was here as well, another Danish guy who I played with in Czech Republic my first year. So, I mean, it was hard because I had the decision of, do I gamble, not knowing what I can get out of it by not signing early, or do I just sign early here and
be safe,
figure out from there? Yeah.
Yes. And you decided to do it early and just to be safe rather than
signed early, not just to be safe. I mean, I felt like this was a good opportunity and the right place to be. And honestly, at that point, I had been living on my own and in different countries for quite a while. So I already knew that going to a different culture, the culture shock, getting to know people, them getting to know you, all this is a big factor in how quick you can adapt. And so I knew that by having someone who was already there as well, that I knew, it would help me in that way.
Okay, so that leads very nicely to the next question that I have. So you said that you had already someone who is in this place, so you know kind of better what to expect. But for someone, what would be just your opinion, what would be other ways to look at when they are choosing high school or college? Because we see that transfers, we see people not getting minutes even though they were promised. What would you suggest?
Great question. Everybody gets promised the world, but there's only 40 minutes in the game. You can't, they overpromise to everyone, and it happens all the time. The thing I would look at, which I have found out now, is turnover. Every single year, after the season ends, how many players are actually deciding to stay and how many players are deciding to leave. Also, look at how many coaches are deciding to stay and how many coaches are deciding to leave. If you have a winning program, but 8 players are transferring out, something might be up. If you have a losing program, 10 players are transferring out, there might be something about it. If the coaches as well, they come there for 1 year and they transfer somewhere else, transfer better, or even transfer laterally. If they transfer to a school that is just as good, maybe even worse, that's something to look into.
That's something to look into. Yes, this is very nice. I haven't heard that before. Did you come up with this?
No, well, I think it's an unspoken thing. But now that I'm not in the basketball world as much,
Yes.
I'll let it out.
Yes. But before, when you were choosing, you did not look into this.
I didn't know it at all. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
understand it at all. But I saw that 7 guys was transferring out, and it was a lot of new guys and a lot of guys from the year before they were transferring out, and I didn't understand why. I just thought, well, it's going to be a new team, so it's going to be a good opportunity for me to just start it the same way as everybody else.
Okay. Okay. That's well said. Well said. And is there anything else that would come into your mind? So we have these like turnovers of the people, coaches included. We have someone who has been there before, maybe from proximity. Anything else?
Yeah, I would say rotation. How much does the coach use 5 players only? How, does he use the bench? What does he do? How does he play everybody? Does he play everybody a little bit, or is it just he has his 5, 6, 7 guys that he plays a lot, and then the rest just gets the odd minutes? That's also a big thing to look at.
Yes. It seems like pay attention that we need to pay attention not to the words but to the actions, because as you said, everyone is.
Listen to the words.
Yeah.
You cannot listen to the words because they'll promise you everything. Don't listen to the words.
Yes, yes. So, how is that life for you academically? You mentioned of the before we started to record, but is it possible to do everything? Studies plus basketball?
It's hard. It's really hard because there's a lot of work, a lot of hours that you just have to schedule out and just do things. And to be honest, especially for a lot of our players from back home who comes from European systems, it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. School over here is not hard, but it's a lot of hours. It's a lot of busy work, is what we call it. You have, assignments in every single class. You take 4, sometimes 5, 6 classes per semester, and it just takes a lot of your time. But it's not hard. It's just scheduling it out in that way. But you can do it, and you can do all of. A lot of times, though, in the beginning of the season, that's when you can get ahead because the games haven't started. Throughout the season, when games are going, you're going to be traveling a lot. You're going to go to different places throughout the week. You're going to be missing a lot of classes. And sometimes teachers, professors, are very helpful, and they are able to work with you on it. Sometimes they don't care. They don't care at all. And then you got to make up for it somehow.
Yes.
So it's also a big thing.
Yes. And basketball wise, during the season, you train a lot, like every single day. And then besides that, you have every single day or most of the days you have school.
So the way, at least here, we have to do, because we're internationals, we have to do 75% of our classes in class, and only 25% can be online. I know for other schools and other players, if you were in a different position, if you were playing a lot of minutes, that rule can sometimes be changed a little bit. Let's say like that. But the official rules is usually like that. That's the policy. So it's usually you have some type of workout in the morning, and then you go to class throughout the day. For us, it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We also did lift at 1. And then we have practice. So we practice every single day as well. Usually for us, it was very nice. We had it at 3 or 4 p.m.
Yes. Facilities are very nice, probably compared to Europe.
The what?
The facilities. Facilities are...
Facilities are nice. Even at our school, which isn't, we're a mid-major, and we don't have a ton of money compared to other schools as well. But even here, it's nice. We have weight room that is completely separate from the school, just for us athletes. We have athletic trainers that are specific for our sport that are always available for us. We have treatment room, and then of course we have the gym.
Yes.
So, yeah, they got nice facilities.
That's nice. People when they go from Europe first time to the USA and they see facilities, they say, "Stan, there's like a weight room, 3 floors, like basketball court, always available." And it is very, very nice. But as you said, we need to pay attention to probably to other things rather than being amazed by.
They're very good at wowing us. They're very good at showing us these different things, and it looks so good. There's a nutrition station where you can get food whenever you want, and you just think, wow, this is amazing. This is what we dreamed of back home when we were in JH, and we could barely even fit in the weight room. But
yes.
There's a lot more to it.
Yes. So look, I think this part will be, I don't know how willing you will be to open, but now if we haven't touched basketball, weight room, and it's for the reason because I want to leave it for now. So when we were in Czech Republic working, you already had sometimes back pain that we would work around, that we would not do some things and find a way for you to be able to stand the court. Also with the knees, a little bit, you used to have that. So your career was cut short, or let's say you had to go easier probably than you would like to because of those injuries. So probably it's not something that you expected. But do you remember when you were in Czech Republic, what type of injuries you had? And did you think that they will stop or they will continue and last for you?
Completely. So I always struggled with knee pain. Oscar Slatter, jumper's knee, the whole thing. I always struggled with that. And that was my main issue. My ankle mobility, I don't know if you remember, but it was great. Mm-hmm. Ankle mobility was great. My hip mobility, on the other hand, was not good.
Yes.
And so I had a lot of pain in my knees, and that was something that we worked on a lot, especially with the knees over toes guy. Mm-hmm. Those exercises where
you were one of the maybe 2, I think, or maybe 3 players that I was testing his program with you guys. And I said to you that you are my guinea pigs. I usually don't do that, but just see,
I was down for anything because it was really bad. And honestly, to this day, knee pain is still the worst I've had. Pain-wise, still the worst because it's just a constant thing and it's in everything that you're doing. Can't get rid of it. As soon as you get out of bed, you feel it. And then it's just all day. So that one, still to this day, hurts so bad. I do remember with my back, I don't remember what happened, but throughout a practice, something happened. And then for 2 weeks, I was out and I couldn't do anything. But then after that, it got better and it wasn't really an issue. So I never in a million years, I thought back was ever going to be an issue again. Because I was strengthening it again and it was good. Yes. But knees, I thought that was what was going to get me.
Yes. Did anything help you? Because we were doing also, I remember those wrapping bands sometimes around those exercises. Or do you feel anything worked?
Honestly, so funny to say now, but what helped a lot was doing the knees over toes things, getting strong in those positions where because you're going to be in those positions when you're playing basketball. Yes. But when we're strengthening, usually we're never really doing it. So for me, it helped me a lot to actually get stronger in those movements that are very odd, that you shouldn't really be in because you are going to be in them anyways.
Yes.
But also load management was something that would have helped, but I didn't do it. It would have helped a lot. And when I was out for those 2 weeks because of my back, my knees, they felt amazing after that. As soon as the load came back on, it was bad again. So but that's also a tough one because you want to play, you want to work on your skills, you feel like you're playing a catch-up game the whole time just to get better all the time. So you can't really do load management the same way, but that's really something that helps.
Okay. You had expectations of when you went to USA before going, you had expectations for your career, probably playing professionally. Was that in your mind?
So my goal was always, because I grew up watching some of the guys in the Danish league, some of the guys who were in the Danish national team, where they are playing professionally,
Mm-hmm.
but they aren't playing at a really high level. And some of them even studying at the same time on the side or working at the same time on the side. And
Mm-hmm.
I knew with myself that I wanted to put in the maximum effort, take every chance I got, and do everything that I possibly could do to become the best player I could be. And if that meant that I was going to be playing in the NBA, EuroLeague, Eurocup, or the Danish league, whatever it was going to be, that's where I was going to end up. But
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do that, and then when I then got there, I could assess, okay, is this something that I still want to do, or should I do something else?
So
But my
now,
goal was always
uh,
about effort. It was not about destination.
that's nicely said. Because I mean, as cliche as it sounds, I want to be like the journey is the goal, not the goal itself.
And
But
it's hard.
so now, tell us, year one, high expectations, or before that year one was high expectations. So tell us briefly, touch those 4 years, the injuries you had, and then I would like to pick your brain a little bit about your mindset going through everything.
Sure. So I came in with very high expectations. I came off a great summer where it had been COVID year and we hadn't played at all. When I got back home, I got invited with the men's national team in Denmark to come work out with them because someone had been injured. And so the plan was really just that I was going to be on the practice squad for the ones that I was going to go to European qualify or yeah, was it World Cup qualifiers or European qualifiers? I don't remember, but it was one of the two.
Yes.
um, and I ended up actually making the team and what's it called? Going down with them to
Yes.
North Macedonia. That's where we were playing those qualifying games. My first game, I didn't even touch the floor, didn't get on the court, and that was gut wrenching. I had never experienced anything like that. I was so mad. But the next game, before the game came, the coach came and told me that the guy who was supposed to be starting, he actually is gonna let me start the game just so I can get my experience and get that first game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but after I started that game, I started the rest of the games, and I was taking most of the minutes because I just
Yes.
went in and I played hard.
Yes.
So I came off a very big high. We lost the games though, but we lost the games. But I had my first game with the men's. I had my first starting game. I was starting the rest of those games. So I was on top of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So coming in, I had very high expectations. But at the same time, I was also very, very, very burned out because that COVID year was rough. It was very rough. But I was excited to get that balance of school and basketball and having a social life on the side. Um, and so I was really just being a freshman.
Yes.
Came in being a freshman. I was there for every practice, working out and going to school, doing all those things. So, I mean, after our exhibition game, and we definitely didn't even make it to the conference games before I got injured, but we
Mm-hmm.
had just friendly game. I think I played 2 friendly games um, before I got injured.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that really changed the course of that year because this was even before the new year, so it was December. And I got injured to where in the beginning we thought maybe a steroid shot would be able to help it. It didn't. Found out I was going to need surgery and I was going to be out for the rest of the season. So I already knew that at least the rest of my freshman season was going to be gone, but I was going to be able to medically redshirt and I was going to get the year back. It was going to be all good.
Mm-hmm. And it
Second
was
year,
back injury.
back. Do you want me to talk a little bit about the injury too?
You can say like what happened to you. Was it like an accident or a collision, or was it something over the time?
I wish I could tell you what it was. One day at practice, I just started feeling a little bit of tingling in my foot. I had never experienced anything like that, so I didn't know what it was. Went to my athletic trainer. We did some small things, but we didn't really do anything about it. We had another guy who actually had this happen over the summer. He just got a steroid shot and he was all good after. But mine, within a week, it progressed from just being a little bit of tingling to, burning sensation down the leg. I lost feeling in my foot. And then at the end, my calf muscles stopped working completely. So at that point, we knew something was really, really wrong.
I mean, if you know that the muscle stops working, so if the muscle stops working, you know that something is really not going well.
That should be a pretty red flag.
But you're laughing, so I hope everything is okay.
Because I'm laughing because at that time, man, I didn't know anything about it. If I knew what I know now, I would have stopped immediately and done something about it. But I had medical professionals telling me, "Oh no, you'll be fine. It's okay. This guy went through it too. You'll be fine. Just keep practicing. You'll be good. We'll figure it out." And then, yeah.
And then year two?
So year two, I went through. What happened with me was I had a couple of herniated and bulging discs. I have what's called disc degenerative disease.
Yes.
So it just means the height of the disc is decreased, it's lost.
Yes. Yes.
And then also, what is it called?
But it's easy to say generative disease because you don't have to have any other type of explanation, because what it means, all people would have that and they would say it's just because of the usage, because of the age and everything. But when it says for the young people, it's strange because it has to be something else. Why someone at age 20 has it and it's supposed to be for someone who's 60 years old or 50 years old.
Yeah. I had a lot of doctors that was questioning what had happened and what was going on because they had seen 60-year-olds with a lot better back than mine. Spinal stenosis, that was the last thing.
Yes.
So that just means the canal where the
brain goes.
Is smaller. So my first surgery was a microdiscectomy at L5S1, L4, L5, where they thought they were going to take off the pressure from that sciatic nerve, and that was going to figure out the issues that I was having. It didn't happen. So getting into year two over the summer, I'm just doing rehab and I'm getting back and I'm thinking I'm going to be good. All of a sudden I start plateauing in my progress and I have to go back to the doctors. I have to go back to getting MRIs and come to find out the pressure is not off the nerve and they don't know why. So we're looking more into it and season is starting. So I'm stressing. Liam had left at this point too. He went back to Denmark to go play professionally. But I had made the decision to stay, go to the rehab and hopefully play again. But that's not how it went. I found out that there was still pressure on the nerve. And so I had to have another surgery, which was, the second one was a laminectomy. And then they also did microdiscectomy at L3, L4, just to make sure that there was nothing putting pressure on the nerve. And the surgeon, he kept telling me, this is going to fix it. This will be good. This is what is going to make sure that you'll be fine. That second surgery, though, it was horrible. We could go into it very deeply, but it was a tough one. And I had to go in through the emergency room 2 days after my surgery because spinal fluid was leaking. It was a mess. It was a mess. But I got over that one. And once again, started my rehabbing, started slowly getting back into the work and thinking that I was going to be playing. And around September, October.
So this is year 3?
This is year 2 still.
Year 2, okay.
This is still year 2. Around September, October, I started noticing again, I'm plateauing. I'm not progressing. And I keep telling my therapist, and I think also he didn't want to discourage me. But he said, you're right off the surgery. Let's wait. Let's see what's going to happen. Give it some time. But I demanded that I get seen, and I actually decided in end of November, December to go home to Denmark to get some tests done back home to figure out what was going on. And they tested again, and they found out that there was still pressure on the nerve. And at this point, there's been pressure on the nerve for, I mean, you probably know, they didn't know if it had been all the time or if it had been relieved a little bit and then back. But it's been over a year at this point, or about a year at this point. So the chances that it's probably not going to get better it's creeping up. It's getting there.
So you need what, next surgery?
Needed another surgery at this point. But this surgery was not just laminectomy or microdiscectomy. I was actually scheduled to go in and get a fusion done, all the way from L4 down to S1, so the bottom part. But a week before my surgery, which was back in Denmark, I ended up canceling it. I said, this doesn't feel right. I had the opportunity to come over here and get a artificial disc replacement instead, which was going to make me more mobile and able to still move. But it's also more risky because they don't know it as well.
Yes.
And with that one, they go in through the front, so they can only go in one time. If anything messes up now, it's game over. There's nothing else to do. But I decided to do it. Took that chance, and I had that surgery in, I think it was May of my second year going into my third year, thinking that I can do this, rehab, do the whole work over the summer, and then be ready for season for year 3, which technically would have been still year 1 because I had redshirted and all this and that. But that don't even matter.
Yes.
But over the summer, once again, I'm doing everything I can. I'm going to my therapist, seeing him 3 times a week. I'm doing exercises by myself. I'm doing, everything that I can. And around August, I could tell I'm not going to be able to be ready for the season. But if I just keep doing what I'm doing, then maybe it'll get better and I'll be ready for the season after, or I'll be able to at least start playing. Because at this point, I haven't played a game since I got there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Like no question. It's when you tell all these things, so you still have one more year left. So I would like you to answer then after this. But in my mind, I'm already thinking, what is going inside your mind? Definitely like giving up. I don't know what motivates you, where you find the strength, what helped you to keep moving forward. But this is what I'm thinking myself, because when I was 15, I had also back injury, but it took me 9 months. And then I was able to play basketball again and do activities again. Everything was fine. I didn't need any surgery. Up to this date, I know the way how to brush my teeth, for example, that I put one hand on the table when I'm brushing my teeth just to take off the pressure of the back, or when I'm doing the dishes, I know that I don't bend in my spine. And I'm able to control that. But now in your case, I'm thinking like what you have been going through.
It was tough. It was really tough. And mentally, especially, I actually told my mom after the second surgery, after the ER visit too, when I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, just getting antibiotics. And I couldn't even explain what was going on in there. It's horrible. I was having a conversation with my sister and I just started passing out midway through it. My oxygen levels dropped, but then got back up. It was, a lot of things happened. Very traumatic. But I kept remembering back to when I was in Lithuania and I had gotten there and it wasn't going the way that I planned in the beginning. And it was hard to adapt to the Lithuanian culture and the Lithuanian language, Lithuanian people. It was hard. The Lithuanian basketball, even the food. Oh my God, kugelis! I hated it. I hated it, Stan.
So that motivated you to keep going forward.
No, what motivated me was I had a coach who I was going through all these things and I was trying to figure it out, and he just. he just looked at me when I was telling him all these things, and I'm like, man, I just don't know what to do. He said, you know what? In the future, you're gonna be very happy that you went through this, because you know that you're gonna go through anything, and you can make it through it. And I'm sitting there like, okay, that's cool, but like, you just threw me into Lithuanian school where nobody speaks English. How am I even supposed to graduate? And he looked me dead in the eyes and said, find a way.
Find a way.
Find a way. I don't care how you're gonna do it, but you're gonna do it. Find a way. And so I was sitting there with tears rolling. I'm like,
yes,
fuck you up. Whatever, man. So you're not going to give me any answers. I called my parents as well. And I'm like, just pull me home. I don't want to be here. This is horrible. But I ended up sticking it out, and we did good. We won ANGT. I was with them on the team, and we went to Spain, all these things. And it ended up being this experience that I would never be without. Even though that it was such a struggle, it ended up being something beautiful. And I just kept envisioning that while I was going through all of this, and being like, I could either just give up, and I would never know if I could actually make it through this surgeries and this injury and all of this. I would always have that question of what if, or I could just push through it. I could push through all of this, and then I would know whether it's going to end up being successful or not. At least I will know. At least I'll know.
Either way, it is successful if you pushed, not if you pushed through it, not because you pushed, but because you did what you wanted to try and see, will you be able? So if we're not talking about being successful, if you made to be professional basketball player, being successful is that you made it. So you definitely is the effort. You definitely made it. And
it
the
was
year
giving it everything that I had, taking every opportunity, doing everything that I could in my power to be as successful as possible. That was really just what kept me motivated. But it was hard, man. It was extremely hard. And I kept telling my mom as well. I mean, after the second surgery and the ER room and all that, I told my mom, I mean, my body might look very injured and very damaged, but my mind is so much worse right now. Like, it is hard. It is extremely hard. But it was a big struggle, huge struggle.
So, who or what helped you?
Really, what helped me was envisioning the future and envisioning myself getting to the other side of it. That was really what kept me going every single day. Even though I was at points where it didn't feel like there was going to be a tomorrow. I just kept thinking, like, if you give up right now, you're going to have that what if for the rest of your life. You will keep questioning, what if I just did one more time? What if I just did one more surgery? What if I just did one more week of PT? You don't know. And that's really what got me through it. And I got a dog. That helped too. I got a dog that, Spaniel, was a game changer. she's not here right now, but
yes,
she was really my emotional support animal.
Yeah, yes, I'm thinking now about one time where my friend said I was still living abroad, and he said, when you will come back to Lithuania, definitely get a dog. He also said it's a game changer, Then we see that sometimes Zalgiris, players from Zalgiris, they would support dogs, and they would walk in with some of the dogs from there, let's call it charity. But dogs, they are definitely a game changer. I liked your both answer. I like the dog answers, and I like that you said, like, that carrying that inside of you. What if I did a little bit more? What if I tried one more week of PD, whatever? That what if would be for the rest of your life. Maybe you need to push just for extra year, maybe extra month, maybe for extra 2 years. But you don't need to think about that what if for next 60 years.
I know now for a fact.
Yes.
I know for a fact I did everything I could. Didn't work out, but hey, at least I tried. At least I did everything I could.
And despite that limited playing time in USA, are you still happy with your experience in USA and that you still made that decision to go?
It's a good question because I've been asked that a lot. I don't know if happy is the right answer because I don't really think about it as in happiness anymore. But the growth and the learning experiences, everything. I mean, it's made me into the person that I am today, and I'm grateful that I went through all those struggles and all those dark times. I don't know if I'm happy that I did it, because you'd be a psychopath if you're happy to go through all those surgeries and all that pain.
Yes.
But it's something that I'm forever going to be grateful of, and I'm forever going to be grateful to ISU and the people who were here and I was taking care of, and not even just in the basketball side, but the school aspect of it as well. I mean, I met some great professors. I just had breakfast with another one a week ago. One of my professors, the old professors who, I mean, I just connected with and I was talking to, and they're just good people, really good people.
Yes. And right now, then I would ask this question, not happy, but so then what would be the word? Are you satisfied that your basketball career did not go as you, are you satisfied where you are right now, even though the basketball career didn't go professionally as you wanted, but okay, answer, because I would almost answer myself that question, thinking what you said previously.
Am I satisfied? I mean, I envisioned a complete different life for myself. But I had to change and adapt to that. And having gone through all of that helped me get to where I am today, and is going to help me for the rest of my life. So yes, I'm very satisfied with the way that it went. Even though it went the way that it did, I'm satisfied with it because I saw myself push through things that I don't think a lot of people would be able to. Knowing I can do that kind of makes me invincible, honestly, Stan. In my mind, I just know I can do anything.
Yes.
Because of that.
So you know what? You're very young, and it means that everything is kind of starting for you right now. You went through those down moments. For you now is going to be much more brighter in your life, and you're going to get much more success. And yeah, man, I'm very, very, very excited for you.
Thank you. It's been a journey, and it's still a journey, and it's a lot of learning, but it's also just a lot of adapting and understanding that I can only do what's in my power. There's a lot of things that are going to come from the outside factors that you can't control, but control what you can control, and make sure you, watch your cup. Like, yes,
it's watch your cup is that explanation if somebody didn't understand what it means. So this means like what you can only have full cup, you cannot have more. So what you put inside, because if you put, I don't know, some poisonous things inside, everything will be poisonous in that cup. So what's your cup? So look, we have one more. First of all, I really, really appreciate you opening up, telling what you went through. I was not aware. I would see sometimes your picture or some of yours pictures, and I would always think, but I don't know why I haven't reached out before. If I knew that it was that difficult, I would have done something. But that's a lesson for me to learn. Last part is short questions, quite short questions, but your answers can be as short as or as long as you wish. Okay, I see I have...
Actually, can I just go back to, because I just think,
of course.
I never really finished the last part of of where I went through, because the third surgery I had was artificial disc replacement.
Yes.
Happened in May, never got back to it after, and so in October, December, that's when I medically retired. I was forced to it, actually, because if it was up to me, I would have kept going trying to do it. But after that, I made a change into putting, I was allowed to just put basketball to the side completely and just focus on school and focus on my mental health and try to get better in that way. And I actually went out and I did summer sales over the summer leading up to that next semester. After that next semester, I went in, did really good academically, and went and got a job that I'm working currently now as well. So you were asking me about if I'm satisfied with being here. I think a big part of being here is also understanding that you're more than just a basketball player. And I think a lot of times in Europe, we don't get to see that part because we're out in Tingling in Czech Republic, where you have no social life, you have no friends outside of your basketball circle, and that is everything. That's your life. But when you go to the States, you get to have friends outside of basketball. You get to live like other college students are living. You have your basketball and you have your sport and you're still focusing on that, but you get a broad aspect of it and you get to understand there's more to life than just being a basketball player. I just wanted to add that in there.
Yeah, it is more than basketball. This is definitely very, very important, phrase, let's say, because when you are playing basketball, everything around you is basketball, your friends, tournaments, weekends, training sessions, everything. You don't see anything else. But you're saying like it's more than basketball. Like traveling, experiencing, even like travel for you to Lithuania, to JH, to Czech Republic, to USA, meeting people, everything. Even though it was still basketball, but right now when you are able to see it from the bigger view, you see it's more than that.
And they kept telling me that. I mean, my coaches and everyone around me, they kept telling me, like, Louis, at the end of the day, you're going through all these surgeries and you are going to sustain lifelong disabilities from this because I have permanent nerve damage now. I can't feel half my foot still. I have issues with when I'm running or jumping, my calf muscle is still going to get weaker and weaker. And then to the point after 15 minutes of running, it's basically not even going to be working. Those are things that I'm going to take with me for the rest of my life. And at that time, I didn't understand that. I was just so focused on, well, what can I do right now to get better and get back to playing? And they're like, well, when you're 30, do you want to be able to play with your kids? Do you want to be sitting in a wheelchair when you're 40? I mean, there's just a lot more to it.
Yes. It's life. It's tough.
Gyvenimas yra gyvenimas.
That's in Lithuanian. Okay, so look, I don't want to take too much of your time. It's already pretty late in USA. For me, it's, day just starting.
That's true.
But look, so the last part is, as I said, questions are quite short, but your answers can be as long or as short as you wish, okay?
All right.
So out of all these negative experiences, let's call it, they were negative that you learned now, but favorite moment from your college experience? Maybe let's keep it to basketball rather than socializing.
You're making it tough right here because I thought you said rapid questions and then you asked me something like that. That's a tough one. Favorite moment from college?
Basketball, let's say experience. So basketball or training experience.
Okay. In college or in general?
College. Let's do it. College.
Oh. I think at least one of my favorites was when we played against Cal State Berkeley. Huge arena, and Amadou was there watching the game. That was special.
Okay.
That was special. That was fun.
So for anyone Amadou is a player that you guys train with, right?
Mm-hmm. And Jimmy was there too.
Yes. So just throwing these names.
So, yeah, I'm just throwing out names. A coach and a player that we know and was there with. They were out there watching, and it was me and Liam who was there playing at the time.
Yes. So you see, the best moment for you was when you had people around you. And you mentioning the names, the coaches. So yes, one thing that surprised you about USA, a USA culture or experience, something that surprised you.
how different of a mindset they have and how different they are as people. I feel like in Europe, I've been to a couple different countries now, lived in Lithuania as well. We still have kind of the same mindset no matter where you go. It's different from Scandinavia to Eastern Europe to Central Europe, of course, but it's very different. They act very different. I mean, me and Pablo, who was a Spanish guy who came with me my freshman year when we came here first, we went to a functioning with our team, and I swear after 30 minutes of just getting there, we both met up at the couch looking at each other like, what the F is going on? What's wrong with people? Why are they like this? They were just so weird, so strange, so different. And we couldn't point it out. It was so weird. So that's what I'll say. Very different.
Okay. So then about what is the toughest part for you was for you moving abroad when you were a teenager? Was it like,
people not having I grew up with the same people. I came from a town that wasn't that big, 30 minutes outside of Copenhagen, called Allerød. We knew everybody in town. Everybody knew everyone. Everybody knew who I was. I knew who they were. We're always hanging out, always had people to hang out with, all of that. And all of that changed very quickly.
Okay. A drill or routine that always stuck with you over those 4 years, meaning regardless how bad or how good you were, was it something, you mentioned visualizing maybe, but was it something that you always were doing consistently?
Well, something I consistently did was tell myself when I woke up. It was that story about a man and a horse that are going and it's very foggy and the horse can't see the road. And he's asking, well, what do? I don't know where I'm going. And the man asks, well, can you see your feet? And the horse said, yes. And can you see the road? No. Well, can you see where your feet are standing? Yeah. So if you take a step, can you see that? Yes. And just take one more step. Take one more step. And I kept telling myself that just go through one more day. Just make it through one more hour. Just make it through one more minute. Sometimes. But that was really that was a routine because that I had to tell myself that.
This is
just one more. The power of one more.
Power of one more. And the last question probably, so now do you say the reason why I don't respond to this, because I have last question for you, and that one piece of advice you would give to young athletes. Would this be advice you would give to young athletes who are about to embark this journey?
I think, honestly, no. One advice I would give to them is just whatever you believe in, whether it's God, whether it's energies, whatever it is, believe in something and just convince yourself that there is a meaning to the madness, that there is a reason that everything happens for a reason. Because understanding that and just really honing in on that part is going to be crucial when you are in a situation where you don't think it's going to be possible for you to make it out of. When you think that everything is going to shit and you should just give it up. There's a reason for everything. Everything happens for a reason.
Louis, you're talking, how can you understand that person has gone through a lot is when you are talking about these things. I'm not saying this lightly, and I do believe many people your age would not be able to share these advices to comprehend, to be aware of these things. Only people that have seen a lot, that have gone through a lot, I believe are able to grasp this type of knowledge, let's say. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing. It's hard to, usually I always summarize in 3 key points after talking to someone. So now I'm like, there are so many things that I want to say, and all this episode can be like one big summary. But what I would say, like shortly, what I believe are the most important things for what I took is, first of all, very, very professional, let's say, like basketball wise. I have never heard that. But one is like, look how many players and coaches are leaving. For me, first was like that, not personal related, but turnover of them. Then when the teacher said to you, find the way, find the way is that it's a mindset, like a next play mentality. Find a way. Don't have a basketball, find a way. Don't have a weight room, find a way. Then it would be also definitely that it's more than basketball. All these journeys, experiences, people, your best moments was when you had friends around. The hardest thing was to leave people for you when to move. But the last, I don't know, I know you were not there in the last year, but when we were last year in Czech Republic, above the door, Gil, the head coach, he made a word, believe. And then every time when you were leaving the locker room, you had to tap, believe. Believing is super important. So, I mean, there are much more things, but these are my things that I think it's super important for anyone to understand. I'm not wishing anyone to go through all these difficulties in order to grasp a little bit of your knowledge but man, thank you very much for sharing and sharing your story, opening up, and we definitely learned a lot from you.
Thank you so much for having me. And I just hope that if this can help just one person out there, I'm happy we did this. And I'm grateful that you're doing all this for everyone else who's out there. I don't think they understand how impactful it can be to have someone who's already gone through it, the college experience, before they're deciding to do it. Because I didn't have that when I decided. I had Liam who was there already, but he had only been there for a year. Outside of that, I didn't know anything about it. I had no clue. So thank you for what you're doing.
And for everyone else, thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode. This is the best way to support us. But for now, keep training, basketball, body, and mind.